Hello, dear friends. This is Domas reporting from the forest. Today, I'm not walking just because I have to go back in a few moments, and I thought go back to um, a health center to do a test for ADHD, even though now I seem like I don't have it. But recently, I made a video about ADHD, and I guess that ties in a lot with schizotypal personality disorder, since my thoughts are flying everywhere. They tend to land on, I don't know, various subjects. And one of them was ADHD. I met a friend who has ADHD. He got medication and he gave me some to try. So it was a very euphoric feeling for the whole day. But the next day it felt a bit off. So I felt like I was on a down low, but it's normal. So today I'm going to do a test to see if I actually have ADHD. I don't really believe in tests, and that is probably tying in with suspiciousness, one of the traits of um, stpd. So you know, I don't really think the test can, like, it feels like you can fool a test pretty easy, if you really wanted to. So now I don't feel like I have ADHD. A couple of days ago, I felt different. So odd ways of thinking, that's another trait. That's another odd speech patterns. That's another trait for STPD. And I thought, you know, these videos are probably the best explanation of, this whole channel is probably the best explanation of how STPD manifests in a human being, because I talk about a lot of different things, whatever comes to my mind. And it's like, you could call it eccentric behavior or whatever. But yeah, I thought that some of those odd ways of speaking, or adding words where they're not supposed to be, or sometimes even expressing thoughts to some people that you're having. Like, for example, I told someone that I had a dream about them, you know, and they might get suspicious, like, what kind of dream? Like, why is he telling me this? Like, but if you're anything like me, you probably understand why I'm telling you a dream. Some people hate when you tell them your dreams. I kind of like it when people tell me their dreams. I can kind of tell what kind of person they are, you know, and that person is interesting to me, you know. But when you tell people something and it's out of the ordinary, people might tend to see you as odd or eccentric. And if that ties in with SCPD, then so be it, you know. I don't know, like, should everyone be normal, like constrain themselves um to just regular conversations where nothing deep gets touched, nothing, you know, gets analyzed, nothing gets, like, I mean, it's philosophy, it's psychology, it's how your brain works, and it tells a lot about the other person, what kind of person they are, when they tell you what they're thinking about. So I think it's a good thing to have different types of thoughts. And when psychotherapy counts this as a personality disorder trait, I look at it suspiciously. And again, you can say, oh, there you go, he's definitely got stpd because he's suspicious about it. It's like, it seems like psychology is a lot about putting things in boxes, and you can put psychologists in a type of box, but I'm not interested in that. You can put them as whatever. I wonder if they put themselves in the type of box. I mean, they need to go through therapy themselves, but I know a lot of therapists, including some of my closest relatives that are therapists, and they don't go to therapy just because there's a need for therapy for therapists, and there's not enough therapists to give therapy to therapists. So I don't know. I see a little bit of irony in that, or yeah, I think it's irony, because it's like you have to practice what you preach. So if you think therapy is good, you should go to therapy yourself. If you're a therapist, you obviously think therapy is good, then you should go to therapy yourself. But if you don't, and I'm talking about psychotherapy, but if you don't know your own flaws. You don't have that mirror, and psychotherapy does not equal a psychotherapy. Like, you don't know what kind of treatment you're going to get. Some therapists might look at you and just put you in the box. They're not going to try to help you. They're not going to try to dig into your mind and see where the problem lies. They might just see, oh, he definitely suits this, this box. So he's got this, so I might as well tell him that he's got that. And what good does that do? Like, I think a real psychotherapist should really know how to listen, should really be very compassionate, very, like, I don't know, just know themselves inside out. If they don't know themselves, how can they know somebody else? So it's funny, I didn't even plan this to be about psychotherapy, this therapy session, this video. But since I'm going to see one today, I thought about that test and those odd ways of thinking. I just thought that you might scare some people with your ways of thinking, but that doesn't mean that you should hide yourself. Maybe it's even for the better. Maybe that will kind of filter out the people that should be around you and that shouldn't. And it tells you a lot about you. And when people fall off, I think that makes you stronger. I think you become more of yourself. You reclaim yourself more by standing your ground. And I don't know, you can act normal. You can choose to just not voice your opinions, not voice your ideas of reference, or, whatever trait that is. You can just shut yourself off from the world and just be this robot kind of being that just does what he's told to do and doesn't expand too much. Like, I do that sometimes. I find that that's very helpful in some ways, where you don't express yourself too much and you don't give yourself out too much. Then people can't really pinpoint you. But also, I break sometimes, when I'm not voicing what I have to say. Eventually I just break, I quit, I just act out, just because I don't feel like I'm myself. So my true self starts to come through. Like, you can call it the Jungian shadow, you can call it I don't know, repressed anger or something, but sometimes it just comes out. And when it comes out, it's 10 times worse. So I think it's best to let it come out bit by bit, when it builds up. And actually, the Tao of Wu, the book I was talking about in the last couple of days, Riza talked about how some music is like very gentle, like gangster music, delivered in a smooth way, and some of the music is really like loud and in your face and on, and some of that music gets stuff out of you, and some of the music puts stuff in you. And when stuff gets put in you, anger builds up, and you might go home and kill a close person of yours. When you put it out, you get it out, you release that tension, you become more of yourself. You feel like you have a voice in this world, and you can say what you want to say. And I think that's important, to say what you want to say. For a long time I didn't think that, but maybe we're learning, maybe I'm learning, maybe I'm growing up. But it's like, who gives a shit anyway? It's just your opinion, but at the same time it needs to be voiced. So anyway, thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for your kindness, for your surroundings, for the people around you. Thank you for being a good human being. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy the weather if you can. Go outside to play with your children if you have them. Enjoy this moment. Breathe. And thank you for being on this channel. Thank you for tuning into the Soul Channel, or being part of this Soul Channel. We talk about what we want here, so feel free to comment anything below. Subscribe if you like what you're hearing, seeing, and stay genuine. Stay you. Love you guys. Take care and peace.